can one tank still be good enough to fight on two different battlefields? That's the dilemma the U.S. Army faces as it grapples with designing a next-generation tank that can fight in both Europe and the Pacific. Rivals in both theaters, chiefly Russia and China, have studied U.S. armored vehicles and the way they're used, and are fielding weapons to counter them. The Army's main battle tank, the M1 Abrams, now faces two main problems. One is that it's an aging Cold War design. The M1 Abrams will not dominate the 2040 battlefield, the Army Science Board, a scientific advisory body, said in a recent report on next-generation armored vehicles. All of the M1's advantages in mobility, firepower, and protection are at risk. The other is that the 70-ton Abrams is designed to fight on the plains of Europe, not the jungles and remote islands of the Pacific. Logistics and support, difficult in both theaters, are exacerbated by the Indo-Pacific's longer distances and less developed infrastructure, including ports and airfields, the report said. The M1 was originally designed in the mid-1970s and is due for replacement as the U.S. military adapts to an era in which weapons such as drones and smart artillery shells pose new threats to armored vehicles. But even as rivals upgrade their tanks and anti-tank weapons, it may be an immense challenge for U.S. planners to agree on what a tank fit for global operations looks like. Tanks have always been Western-centric. They were invented by Britain, were the leading edge of the Nazi blitzkrieg, and were manufactured in enormous quantities by Russia and America. Israel's Western-style army uses tanks proficiently, while armor is still one of the key weapons in the Russia-Ukraine war. But in the Pacific Wars of the 20th century, both on islands and in continental East Asia, tanks often played a secondary role in what were mostly infantry battles fought on rough, roadless terrain or on beaches and surface zones. Japan did use a small number of armored vehicles against poorly armed Chinese troops in the Sino-Japanese War of 1937 to 1945. British troops in 1942 were shocked when Japanese armor advanced through the impenetrable jungle on the Malay Peninsula. During the island-hopping campaign of 1942 to 1945, U.S. Army tanks provided valuable fire support against entrenched Japanese defenders and performed a similar role in the Korean and Vietnam Wars.